is the Vril Society. It's spelled V-R-I-L. It is the second video in my series about the Illuminati. The Vril Society, or the Luminous Lodge, combined the political ideals of the Order of the Illuminati with Hindu mysticism, Theosophy, and the Kabbalah. It was the first German nationalized group to use the symbol of the swastika as an emblem linking Eastern and Western occultism. The Vril Society presented the idea of a subterranean, matriarchal society utopia ruled by superior beings who had mastered the mysterious energy called the Vril Force. This secret society was founded literally on Bulwer Lytton's novel, The Coming Race, written in 1871. The book describes a race of men physically far in advance of our own. They have acquired powers over themselves and over things that made them almost godlike. For the moment, they are in hiding. They are said to live in caves in the center of the earth. Soon they will emerge to reign over us. While researching this classic book, Morning of the Magicians, author Jacques Bergier and Louise Pauwels were given the above account by one of the world's greatest rocket experts, Dr. Willy Ley, who fled Germany in 1933. Dr. Ley said that the Vril Society, which formed shortly before the Nazis came to power, believed that they had secret knowledge which would enable them to change their race and become equals of the men hidden in the bowels of the earth. Methods of concentration, a whole system of internal gymnastics by which they would be transformed. The Vril Society believed that whoever became master of the Vril will be the master of himself and of others around him and of the whole world. The belief was that the world will change and that the lords from underneath will emerge from the center of the earth. Unless we have made an alliance with them and become lords ourselves, we shall find ourselves among the slaves on the dung heap that will nourish the roots of the new cities that will arise. That was from The Unknown Hitler by Wolf Schwarzenwaller. The Vril Force and the Black Sun. In Linton's The Coming Race, the subterranean people use the Vril Force to operate and govern the world. A few children armed with Vril-powered rods are said to be capable of exterminating a race of over 22 million threatening barbarians. Served by robots and able to fly on Vril-powered wings, the Vrilia are by their own reckoning radically and culturally superior to everyone else on Earth, above or below the ground. At one point, the narrator concludes from the linguistic evidence that the Vrilia are descended from the same ancestors as the great Aryan family, from which in varied streams has flowed the dominant civilization of the world. The idea of mutation and transformation into a higher form of a god-man was envisioned through the Vrilia. In Bulwer Lytton's The Coming Race, Lytton himself was an initiate of the Rosicrucians and was well versed in the arcane esoteric philosophies and, of course, the greatest advances in the sciences of his day. Through the romantic works of fiction, he expressed the convention that there are beings endowed with superhuman powers. These beings will supplant us and bring about a formidable mutation in the elect of the human race. This is where notion of a mutation, Berger warns, it crops up again with Hitler and is not extinct today. Berger and Powell's were writing in 1960, but today this philosophy is sadly once again in the foremost of popular culture. The New World Order, so vehemently opposed, is under the direct influence and guidance of the New Age movement, a hodgepodge of occult philosophies, doctrines, and dangerous socialism, which hides under the cover of spiritual enlightenment. Theosophy is considered the most important foundation, and its founder, Madame Blavatsky, was a great admirer of Linton. In the occult conspiracy, the excellent researcher Michael Howard writes about the compatibility of the two philosophies. Blavatsky had read Bulwer Lytton's novel and was very impressed by their occult content, especially Zanoni and the Last Days of Pompeii. The latter was published in 1834 and dealt with the time between early Christianity and the mysteries of Isis in Italy in the 1st century AD. Blavatsky's esotericism was virulently anti-Christian. The racial ideas of Madame Blavatsky concerning root races and the emergence of a spiritually developed type of human being in the Aquarian Age were avidly accepted by the 19th century German nationalists, who mixed the theosophical occultism with anti-Semitism and the doctrine of the racial supremacy of the Aryan or Indo-European peoples. Presumably, the Vril Society established contact with the secret chiefs, or the Vrilia themselves, and secretly began cooperating with certain German scientists in the late 20s. As early as 1936, Hitler was sending teams of spelunkers into caves and mines all over Europe, searching for the Vrilia. The Nazis had also explored Antarctica extensively during the years from 1937 to 1938. In search of the fabled hole of the South Pole, they apparently had success, like Admiral Byrd, in discovering these entrances. It was here, some say, that they made contact with the unknown superhuman Vrilia, who lived in the fabled Rainbow City. In this controversial presentation, UFO Secrets of the Third Reich, Vladimir Terzinsky draws a connection between alien beings and such Germanic secret societies as the Tempelhof, the Thule, and the Vril, as well as the Black Sun. Terzinsky tells of an alien Tudor race that secretly began cooperating with certain German scientists in the late 1920s in underground bases and began to introduce their concepts of philosophical, cultural, and technical progress. That is from the Rainbow Conspiracy. With help from extraterrestrial intelligences, Terzinsky postulates the Nazis mastered anti-gravity spacecraft, established space stations, accomplished time travel, and developed their spacecraft to warp speeds. At the same time, the aliens spread their Metaphysician ideas into the wider German population through the Thule and Vril societies. Terzinsky maintained that anti-gravity research began in Germany in the 1920s with the first hybrid anti-gravity circular craft, the RFC-1. It was constructed by the Vril Society. In 1942 to 1943, a series of anti-gravity machines culminated in the giant 350-foot-long cigar-shaped Andromeda space station, which was constructed in old Zeppelin hangars near Berlin. The research had developed, and it was now a major part of the SS. In fact, the Vril do exist, and the Nazis did indeed establish contact with this race. we could assume that this anti-gravity propulsion worked on the principles of Vril energy. On the other hand, the Nazis, it has already been established, were driven by occult groups like the Vril Society, whose workings extended into the reaches of all such forces, and that would lead to the discovery of the Vril. We're going to talk more about the Vril Society in my next video. That video will be discussing the work of someone named Donald Marshall, and he talks about the Vril and the Vril Society, but he has researched and found out that there's a lot more to this than what the mainstream knows about the Vril Society. It's actually hiding a much deeper secret, and the idea of a Vril force and Vril energy, according to Donald Marshall, is not correct. The term Vril actually refers to a type of subterranean alien, not superior in any way, but rather carnivorous and a parasite type alien. So in my next video series, I will be discussing the work of Donald Marshall. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you have other suggestions, please let me know.